Okay, this is part 2. We're picking up where we left off before. This is number 14th of the Andromedan communication. And it's still, of course, March 23rd, 2019. We're talking about Andromeda. I mean, we're talking about Antarctica. And you were saying that there's an inherent evil in that region?
There is.
So what's going on there?
There is basically a culture that has not been understood by your people, and we can understand how that would happen.
Okay.
That culture down there, something your top echelons are beginning to find out, is still there, but in a way you didn't expect it to be.
It's still there as in present, or just they left their technology and their negativity there?
Both.
Really?
It's alive. They are embodied in the technology now. Now please understand that does not mean that to be embodied in a technology makes it evil. It doesn't.
Yes.
This has been a concern that some of your people have. Simply being embodied into a technology is not a bad thing. It's not an evil.
Okay.
It's the source that goes into it that makes the difference.
Yes.
Intense. And this ancient source knew that it would run into a time where it could no longer survive as it was, and it was not allowed to leave your Earth.
Uh-huh.
So it did the only next best thing it knew how to do.
Uh-huh.
And it is enticing people to come explore and find out.
Oh, wow. That's deep.
We are having some discussions with various members, not of your government, because how do I say this without being insulting?
What, that the government is really being controlled by the largest corporations of the world?
That too, but your government is worthless.
Yeah.
They have potential for so much more.
Yeah.
We do not want it to be said that your government has no value. It does, but it's not living up to it.
Yeah. Well, it's been made clearly to anyone that is, seriously pays attention to our government in action that it is fairly useless.
Well, the only government you have in America now is corporation.
Yeah.
You refer to it as fascists.
Yes.
And there have been examples of this throughout your human history that do not need to be repeated and do not need to be given the power that repeating them would give them.
Certainly.
But there are negotiations we have with some individuals to see about closing Antarctica to humankind for a period of time. Not for a long period of time. It could be, I'm going to put this on a range, 20 weeks to maybe 20 years. Probably more like 20 weeks to 20 months.
Okay. And then what? Are you going to be able to purge this this technology that sounds like it's infused with a demon energy?
This is what we are investigating.
How can you do that?
Oh, it's not impossible. At this time, perhaps it would be better if we don't tell you.
Okay. Fair enough. What about this aspect that a lot of people are saying that part of the reason why so much Antarctic information has been leaked out in this last year, and so many people, whistleblowers, are coming, out and talking about the secret bases that they found down there, that just immense, large secret bases that appear to be empty, but it's very interesting and sheds a lot of light. You explaining that they're not really empty, that these dark energies, I would think of them as demons. Demonic energy has infused itself in the very walls and buildings of these places. But the idea that in the melting of Antarctica, the global warming that's going on, that it's actually going to help disclosure and force disclosure in a lot of ways, because as the areas of Antarctica melt, they're literally revealing these buildings and ancient craft that exist there below the ice, right?
Yes. And your people need to know the truth. But
so basically, I'm sorry. Let me just So basically, you're saying you'd like to get, all the military people out of there. That, I know that's not going to be an easy task because they think, they need to be there to figure everything out. And, anything that's worth it, anything they want to have their hands on, and be, controlling. But basically, you want them out of there so then you can do what you need to do, technology-wise, to cleanse the area.
You should see what that stuff did to the Fourth Reich.
Uh-huh.
And they thought they were going to learn how to control it, and yet they ended up being absorbed.
Really? You mean
their souls?
They got even more negative, or you mean they literally got taken over?
Both.
My body and mind.
Both.
Wow. Okay.
Now, there were those who left the area when they could figure out what was happening.
Uh-huh.
And have been looking for a way ever since, to try to go back with some degree of protection. They were even considering turning to the one I'm channeling through at this time to request help and protection by him. But at one moment they decided it would be worthless because he would probably not cooperate.
You're talking about modern, quote-unquote, modern-day Nazis.
The Fourth Reich.
Yes. And what we've come to understand the last so many years is that most of them, they're not so bad per se. They're not looking to cleanse the world, or they kill off swaths of people, as some of these other factions are interested in doing. They more or less have their secret lives and technology and want to be left alone. So you're kind of confirming that's
Yes.
How most of them are.
Yes.
And as opposed to there's a small faction, I guess, that have been absorbed into this demonic force that's down there.
That too.
Then they might be running around in the physical sense as well.
No.
Okay, so they don't exist.
They've been absorbed
in the flesh anymore. Okay, wow. And
what
it
you
sounds
haven't
like
been told is that there were dead human bodies found in there.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Well, this is very interesting. There's other places in the world as well, since we're on this topic, where they've been finding under ice areas. For instance, there's an area in Alaska where the military has found a huge underground pyramid. The peak of the pyramid, I've heard, is roughly 200 feet below the surface of the ground, and this pyramid is putting out an enormous amount of energy that could take care of all of northern Canada, the whole country of Canada's needs for electricity, and they're trying to figure out how to utilize it, and that they believe it's part of a matrix of pyramids around the world. Now, my question to you is, first, of course, these things exist. Anyone that's done research, is aware that there is, the whole idea, the whole situation with ley lines and energy, and these pyramids is, built on these ley lines and picking this up. But is it fair to say that many of these matrices of pyramids and energy collectors and creators are not all, just helping to create a matrix that keeps humanity energetically trapped, that some of this is good?
That's a very good question. Originally, this matrix, as you refer to it, we would refer to it as a web or a net. It was not meant for entrapment, it was meant for power. Power to run civilizations, but not yours. Much earlier.
Uh-huh.
There were
We're talking hundreds of thousands of years ago, it sounds like, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And some of your people are looking for something that has been referred to in Norse tradition as the Nephilim, which is the same as the Nephilim.
Yes.
also known as fallen angels.
Yeah, and that usually is tied into the whole Nibiru situation.
Yes. And some of these fallen angels, if you want to put it that way, are still very much alive, but not in a physical form.
Mm-hmm.
Their bodies are in stasis, those that still exist as a body, while their souls have joined with the other souls to make the dark mind, the dark energies over these various nodes that are all scattered across your planet.
Now, does this tie in with the biblical reference of heaven trapping a large portion of demonic, deep in the recesses of Earth?
The best way I can answer this for you, your Bible refers much to the concept of magics. You don't call it that, and this would be offensive to some of your people.
Yeah.
Call it spirits, if you wish. Spiritual energies, magical energies, whatever term you wish to use. But in the time in which your Bible was written, anything that would be a form of energy would have been considered mystic, magic, or spirit.
Right, right.
So, how do I put this without disappointing a lot of people? You see, we cannot control how you will take what is said.
That's all right. I have an idea what you're going to say.
We would never attempt to. But in some ways, your planet has been the end of the line, I think your people call it. A prison planet.
Mm-hmm.
Not for humans, but for other souls who came way before you.
Mm-hmm.
And they believe they should have ownership here.
How
Just a minute.
tragic.
They have been trapped
Yeah.
by us and others, so they can't take this further because they've already had a history of doing just that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there have been, to our understanding, murderous attacks by many reptilians against some of the same kind of spirits that were controlling and ruling, running their worlds.
Right.
They have declared their freedoms.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the one you know as Gary
Mm-hmm.
has come to the earth to try to help in establishing greater freedom here.
Yeah.
Now, he very probably will be returning in the very foreseeable future, at least for a temporary period of time, over your earth.
Mm-hmm.
It was not meant on anyone's part for your earth to be poisoned by these dark forces. It was meant that your earth was known to have the spiritual power to contain them.
Oh.
And with other energies
Yeah.
provided by outside sources, that was made certain. Now, in your Bible, it refers to the demons being cast underground.
Yes.
Also in the book of Ezekiel, not found in your Bible, but should have been. These same spirits asked more than once to please be allowed to return home. They were denied.
Mm-hmm.
You must understand what your people refer to as a war in heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's truly heaven, there will never be a war. So it's a war in the heavens,
Mm-hmm.
amongst the stars,
Good clarification.
with beings who can wield energies that you're just now beginning to get an inkling of.
Uh-huh.
We will help provide the advice and the example and the training for your race to become a type 1 or type 2 extraterrestrial race, interstellar race. At this time, the problem your scientists who are researching some of these strange phenomena, as we will put it, are having is that when a link is made to try to control these spiritual energies, and I use that word very loosely, damage is done to the ones who try to control them. And then those individuals have to be eliminated.
The people that were interfacing.
Yes.
And this sounds like one aspect that a lot of people have heard about is getting played out with the whole black goo situation.
The skin of evil.
And so it just is so tragic because this is, I believe, and I've heard this from other, alien groups and entities, that this world is in fact, one of the most beautiful, planets, out there.
Most definitely.
And it just seems so tragic that, these demons couldn't have been frickin' cast into some, ugly, wasteland of a planet.
Oh, that's what's being set up for them.
Okay, good.
We know that because of
like one of these alternate dimensional, I'm sorry, but like one of these alternate dimensional Earths that's cleaving into the negative and let them... Shh. Really? Can't talk about that? Okay.
Shh.
Okay.
We know that the way your entertainment systems are set up, you love shows that take half an hour to an hour, problem, solution, everybody laughs at the end, and then the next show comes on.
Yeah.
But this is not the way things always work throughout the multiverse.
Some things happen on a grand scale, you're saying.
True.
Time-wise. Yeah.
Now, you have been told that Earth is the nexus for change.
Yes.
Now, this should become quite a bit clearer to you. What is happening here will echo throughout the multiverse and is an example of what is being done not just here on your Earth, but on numerous civilizations all across the multiverse, especially here in your galaxy.
That is, for anyone that really contemplates that and gets a sense of that, that is a really wondrous as well as a proud thing to, that I think everyone that's here in this world should be proud of that they're, taking place of it, that their good energy, is helping to usher that in.
Yes. And the more, the merrier, I think your term is.
Yes.
If you want to look at it this way, what you call God, which is not even an accurate statement, but because it's your term, it fits.
A creator.
Has, as I stated when I came to you before, drawn a line in the stars. Your term is the buck stops here.
Yes.
End of the line.
Yes.
And this is what has been told. This is where, not to cast aspersions on a life form, this is where the spider has been kept in the jar and now it's time to get rid of the jar.
Well, hey, most people feel that it is about time.
Well, you have help.
I've been waiting to hear this all my life, literally. So, in fact, I'm pretty sure Bob, kind of thought the same as I did growing up. That we both saw, and felt what was coming and what needed to, come and happen, and that there's a good chance that we wouldn't, make it, past our 30s, and that, I was okay with that, and to that end, and the state of the world and everything, to not be able to have people use my offspring as leverage, I made a conscious decision not to have children. You know, not because I have anything to do with kids. And I know there's probably some people out there that have thought that. I know my sister accused me of that a long time ago, but it has nothing to do with that. It's that I couldn't bear to to have to worry about children and go about my business.
In this age, it would be difficult.
Yeah.
And children deserve better.
Yeah.
And that for this evening is the end of this communication.
Okay.
We hope we have shared a lot of good news with you.
Yes.
And expect wonderful things.
Thank you very much.
And everyone I know your Earth is in two halves, basically. For those of you in daylight, have a wonderful day. For those of you in night, have a peaceful, relaxing, serene night.
And please, we haven't talked to the good reptilians. Please get word to Gary and company. We say hi. We haven't talked to them in months, so
we will do it. There is a statement that we are to make. No, this will wait for another time.
Oh, you're teasing me.
No. Have a fine night.
Okay. All right, then. Well, there you have it. Another very interesting, informative communication from our Andromedan friends through their Zaahyin priests. I hope you all enjoyed this as much as I did, and let this put you in a good state of mind. Good things are happening. So pass the word along, and as well as pass the information on about our channel and what we're trying to do here. The more people get word of this, the better. And take care.